That's a good one. The first thing to do is because a motorcycle is so light in comparison with body weight, or the other way to say that is body weight is such a big deal compared to bike weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a car, right? A car, it doesn't matter whether you're 250 pounds or whether you're 150 pounds. And so number one thing you would do is set it up for your weight, which really has to do with setting up springs, which would be correct rate springs. It would be then how much preload you'd need to get the right sag and that kind of stuff. So that would really be the first thing, is set up your springs. And then the other thing is, because of motorcycle, there's no way, again, because of the weight of the bike compared to the weight of the rider and the different kinds of riding that we do. I mean, these same motorcycles are used for motocross, supercross, which are as different as night and day, trail riding, enduros, desert riding. They get converted into flat trackers, Formula 450 road racers, et cetera, et cetera. And so the next thing to do is to set up the valving, and really that's what, all of this stuff is what, we've been doing since the beginning of Right Sag, which is actually 1984. Actually, before that I've been doing it. But and so what we've done is we actually have kits that either we install or other people install. And really that's the distinction that I've made with my company, is I really changed it from send it in to me, I'll do all the work, to if you want to do this, I'll help you do it. And parts of that are everything from having things in kits. We'll also sell tools. I teach the seminars. I wrote a book. All of that stuff is designed so that if you want to do it yourself, you can do it yourself. And so, really it's a valving, setup of valving. What we've done that's unique about our company is I actually have what we call the DVS, or digital valving search, which is done on our website. So when you get a kit, you have enough valving in there to do a setup from supercross to flat track. And what you'll actually do is you take that kit, you go onto the internet, there's an access code in there, and the internet is calculating what the actual valving stacks are. And what we do here is we constantly are working on the valving stacks and the settings so that they have the latest settings, so that if you had brought it in here or you had done an install yourself, you'd be doing the exact same setup. And then from that point, it's a matter of doing it correctly, which is a really good trick. I'd say probably the biggest issue that we've had over 30 plus years of doing this is that people will take the valving stacks and install them upside down, and they'll call us up and they're all pissed off, and then they'll be blogging, or something. That stuff doesn't work. And I go, well, let me take a look at it. Well, if you actually put it on the right way, and then they go, oh, this stuff works good, but they've already written something. Anyway, but, so really the trick is once you get the kit and the settings, it's a matter of put it in right. Know what you're doing. Use a torque wrench that does 30 inch-pounds, and make sure you're putting Loctite in the right place and the right amount, and, et cetera, et cetera. And, one of the things that is critical in doing is doing a setup that's consistent, so it's exactly the same over and over and over again. I've certainly seen setups where it's supposed to be the same valving, the bikes work completely differently. And so being able to do things, to install things correctly, is critical as far as suspension is concerned. And if I were to look at things as far as what you would do in the install process, cleanliness is, you've heard cleanliness is next to godliness. Well, as far as suspension is concerned, absolutely critically true. You get a little bit of shavings or something in there, and it doesn't work like what you want to. It actually can destroy things. And then the next thing is to, as far as the assembly is concerned, then even just something as simple as setting your clickers correctly is a really, really big deal. And in fact, I'd say probably one of the other things that has been an issue over the years, people call us up and they'll say, hey, the thing's not doing what, it's like it seems to be kicking, or it does this or whatever, after we send them a setup. And so we'll ask them, hey, where are your settings at, external settings? And so they'll tell us where it is. And invariably what people will do is, they get nervous someday, or they're not riding as fast as they would like to, and the bike doesn't work, they're grabbing the handlebars a little too tight or whatever, and my bike's kicking. Well, they slow the rebound down, which is in general the exact opposite direction that you want to go. And they slow the rebound down, and they slow the rebound down, and they slow the rebound down. And again, it's kind of counterintuitive to most people. Most people think that the suspension, when it hits a bump and it kicks, it goes through the travel, and then it recoils uncontrollably, and the seat slaps them in the butt. It's not what happens. What actually happens is it doesn't absorb the bump, and so it gets too harsh and it deflects, or it goes all the way through the travel, bottoms, and then deflects. And too much rebound damping, in other words, too slow rebound damping, actually can cause a kicking, but really not so much too little rebound damping. Too little rebound damping, the bike will feel loose. And I'm not saying, hey, just don't have any rebound damping. I'm not saying that at all. But understanding that the connection between rebound damping and how a bike actually should work, really, really big deal. I don't know how many bullet points I'm on so far, but and then I always say, make sure you install the stickers correctly. Mm-hmm. And that's my joke, of course. But really, those are the things as far as suspension, and certainly maintenance, everything from linkage to whatnot. And all of that stuff all ties together, meaning the entire bike ties together. If you've got a throttle tube that's a sticky throttle tube, you'll think your suspension isn't working as well as it should. If you've got an engine that you've built it and it's got really good high peak horsepower numbers, but it's lost all the bottom end and it's really pipey, kind of like the old days of the two-stroke, there are a lot of engine modifications that just simply lose the bottom end and maybe pick up a little bit of horsepower up top, ruins the bike, and it makes the bike much, much harder to ride. All of that will translate into how friendly that bike is, how easy it is to ride, how easy it is to win races. I mean, frankly, I very rarely get a 450 motocrosser wide open. And actually get to that peak horsepower number, but to have that nice broad power band where it comes on nice and smoothly and puts the power to the ground, really key part of actually making your suspension work.